We're here outside what will be a future Palestinian embassy in the UK, after the UK chose to join many other countries in recognising the state of Palestine.
The embassy of the state of Palestine. The embassy of the state of Palestine.
But what does this actually mean, and how will it change the facts on the ground for Palestinians? We spoke to members of parliament and a few other officials to ask their opinions.
This moment is not about whether Palestine exists or not. As the British minister said earlier, they came late. 149 countries recognized Palestine already. And Palestine exists not just on the land of Palestine, but on the hearts of the 14 million Palestinians. Strong, rooted, resilient, and with all the steadfastness you have seen and all the investment in the future. So Palestine exists. But today's recognition of the state of Palestine by the UK ends 108 years denial of our existence, 108 years denial of our right to self-determination. And what we need to do now is to end the denial of genocide, because some are still denying genocide.
I'm Layla Moran. I'm the Lib Dem Member of Parliament for Oxford West and Abingdon, and the first and, as far as I know, only British Palestinian MP. So this frankly should have happened decades ago. This shouldn't have taken a genocide to get us to this point. But I am nevertheless pleased that we've got here. On its own, is it the silver bullet? Well, of course not. If it was, it would have happened a long time ago and we would have done it then. But this is a consequence of a clear condition that was set on Israel to reach a ceasefire agreement. It did not, and therefore we are in this position now. But the way I see it is that it's a down payment on peace. This is the British government saying we have to do something different. This hopefully marks the start of that, but believe me, as a parliamentarian, I can assure we will keep pushing them to keep doing more things that are different to before.
This is not a destination, far from it. This is merely the very beginning of a workshop, a real workshop. So we get the UK and the rest of the world to fulfill their own legal obligations, to end the genocide, to bring the war criminals to accountability behind bars, implement the ICC arrest warrant against Netanyahu and all the war criminals in Israel, to impose a full arms embargo on a state that commits genocide, and to impose full sanctions, comprehensive sanctions on the ecosystem of the unlawful occupation, of the illegal settlements. The list is long and very well known. So we deal with the root cause of all this. This recognition must be followed by concrete, tangible, real steps to end the occupation, to end the colonization, to end the siege, and to establish the independent, sovereign state of Palestine with Jerusalem as its capital, and to uphold the rights of the Palestinian refugees enshrined in their own private rights for their private properties, but also enshrined in international law.
So does that include a right of return?
Yes, this is a moment. This is a moment for all of us to feel that let work begin.
My name is Chris Doyle. I'm the Director of the Council for Arab-British Understanding and also a columnist for Middle East Eye.
How do you feel about this recognition of a Palestinian state by the UK?
It's a momentous moment because Britain is the author of the Balfour Declaration. It's the mandatory power. We have a huge historic responsibility for what has happened. So finally, and it is, I'm afraid, far too late, Britain has decided to recognise the state of Palestine, but also to recognise the rights of the Palestinian people to self-determination, to nationhood. So that is important, but it has to be seen in the context of what is happening right now. The genocide in Gaza, the famine, the system of apartheid in the West Bank, and here the British government is really yet to deliver. And it has to, with its allies, put the appropriate amount of pressure on Israel to stop this. And so it's not good enough just to recognize the state. You have to do a huge amount to bring that state into reality as an independent state, not one under occupation, not one under attack and bombardment.
I think for all of us, certainly the parliamentarians who are here, they need to use this as a starting point for what comes next, because we can't just say this is good enough. It's not. We now need to ensure that there is a state to come from this, a state which is free from genocide, which is free from ethnic cleansing, which can be rebuilt and be peaceful, and that's going to require a hell of a lot of work. Some of us are up for that, we're up for those arguments, we're up for making sure the UK government changes its stance, and we'll continue to fight on the arguments that we've fought for so long now.
What future steps do you think the UK should take and other countries should take to make sure that Palestinian state is independent?
Well, Britain has, first of all, got to pressure Israel. It has to do that through sanctions. That is the standard toolkit to be deployed when a state systematically violates international law at such an egregious level. We need to demonstrate that it won't be a business-as-usual relationship. We need to end all military and security cooperation with Israel, including any sale of weapons and military technology. That is the sort of start of the response we need to see. But there are other things as well. But there should be a full ban on all trade with settlements and any cooperation with any entity that is there to sustain the unlawful Israeli military occupation.
What kind of pressure does this put on Israel?
Well, first, as I said today in my speech in this historic moment, that this is not just about Palestine. Palestine existed before the Balfour Declaration. Palestine has always existed and will always exist. This is about Britain. This is about correcting a historic injustice that has been committed by the colonial era of Britain, promising our land without consulting us, giving it away, and turning us, the native population, the cradle of civilizations, the most rooted of nations, into communities, and then overseeing the Nakba during the British Mandate. We saw the recognition of the State of Palestine by the British government as the beginning of righting these historic wrongs, on which, as a step, we need to build many other steps.